Bhagavad Gita chanting, Chapter 10, verses 1 to 10.
अथ दशमोऽध्यायः। श्रीभगवानुवाच भूय एव महाबाहो शृणु मे परमं वचः यत्तेऽहं प्रीयमाणाय वक्ष्यामि हितकाम्यया न मे विदुः सुरगणाः प्रभवं न महर्षयः अहमादिर्हि देवानां महर्षीणां च सर्वशः यो मामजमनादिं च वेत्ति लोकमहेश्वरम् असम्मूढः समर्थ्येषु सर्वपापैः प्रमुच्यते बुद्धिर्ज्ञानमसम्मोहः क्षमा सत्यं दमः शमः सुखं दुःखं भवो भावः भयं चाभयमेव च अहिंसा समता तुष्टिः तपोदानं यशो यशः भवन्ति भावा भूतानां मत्त एव पृथग्विधाः महर्षयः सप्त पूर्वे चत्वारो मनवस्तथा मद्भावा मानसा जाताः येषां लोक इमाः प्रजाः एतां विभूतिं योगं च मम यो वेत्ति तत्त्वतः सोऽविकम्पेन योगेन युज्यते नात्र संशयः अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवः मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावसमन्विताः मच्चित्ता मद्गतप्राणाः बोधयन्तः परस्परं कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च तेषां सततयुक्तानां भजतां प्रीतिपूर्वकम् ददामि बुद्धियोगं तं येन मामुपयान्ति ते
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति। You have seen up to verse 7, right? Verse 6. 6 or 7? 7. 7. 3. Vibhuti Yoga. Vibhuti Yoga means the supreme manifestation of the glory and the might of Brahman. That is the Vibhuti Yoga. So the one who understands, he says, he who knows in reality the supreme manifestation and my yoga, union. Meaning how I am united with the manifestation. The one who understands that, that's what he is referring to, becomes established in unshakable union. There is no doubt about it. Because constantly we carry one doubt. Actually, there is no doubt that we are very clear. Those who start the spiritual journey are very clear. One aspect. They may have doubts about everything, but one thing is absolutely sure for all of us. What is it? Realization in this Janma not possible. One fellow was telling me, next Janma also you should come as a teacher to me. I said, please pray, Sir, I can't realize at least if you realize it will be good for us. No. It says, next Janma also you should come as my teacher. There is no doubt about it, he says. This is the doubt we carry. The doubt that we all carry is, this is impossible. He says, no, it is possible. There is no doubts on that. Never entertain that doubt. But when it made possible, there is a price to be paid. What is to be done for that? He says, the one who knows in reality, Veti Tattvataha. In reality, in essence, in its completeness, in its fullness, you have to understand, not in bits and pieces, not just a belief system. See, knowing in reality means there is a difference between understanding something, appreciating something, and developing a conviction on that. They are not the same. See, when you are reading Vedanta, you can appreciate. After a point, you can even understand. But then, there is no conviction. And what he is referring to here is that Veti Tattvataha means the one who has that understanding converted into conviction. It's not just I appreciate, sir. I appreciate the lectures. I appreciate the teaching. I appreciate the reasoning, logic. Irrefutable, beautiful it is. Very engaging, very entertaining, thought stimulating. All that we can say. And next step is you can even go to an extent of saying that I have understood also. I have an understanding. What is it? Attachment spells sorrow. I have understanding. There's no doubt about it. Do you have any doubts on that? Do you have a belief that no, understanding, attachment gives joy? No. Understanding this. Attachment spells sorrow. I have understood that. But then, has your attachment gone? Why? Because that understanding has not become a conviction. You are not convinced about it. You have understood. But conviction is different. Now when he says, Eti Tattvataha. The one who understands that in essence, no in reality. What is it that you have to know in reality? The union of this unmanifested Brahman with the manifested world. How that unmanifested Brahman, unmanifestable Brahman, word irukka theriyala. Is there a word? Unmanifestable. Doesn't matter. You understand, no? Yes. That's all. Yeah. Unmistakable. This cannot manifest. Brahman cannot manifest. But we do see the world where there is a clear manifestation. How that connection, how this unmanifest Brahman has manifested into this world, how it is expressing in the world, that manifestation of it, right? We see the manifestations of electricity in all the appliances. In a fan, it manifests in one way. In a bulb, it manifests in another way. In the speaker, it manifests in another way. In the mic, it manifests in another way. Generator, it manifests in another way. Right. It manifests differently to different things. But in and through all the manifestations, what do we understand? We understand the presence of electricity. Same way, in and through all this that we are seeing, we should be able to understand the presence of Brahman, he says. So the one who has that understanding, established in unshakable union, Abhikampena Yogena, unshakable union. Why? He is completely convinced. There is a total conviction is there. A person who has an understanding can be shaken. That's very easy. But a man of conviction cannot be shaken. That is not possible. So that is what he is referring to.
So having conviction, is it the same as same as having wisdom? Secondly, is it having realized? Is that one step further?
No. Having conviction is wisdom, yes. You can equate it. But having conviction is not realization. Realization is next step. Understanding, conviction, realization. How does the process happen, sir? Through Shravana, what you get? Understanding. Repeated Shravana, you will get understanding. Right? Then when you do Manana, that understanding becomes a conviction, wisdom. The mark of wisdom is conviction. How do you know you have wisdom? You can say, see how nicely I am handling issues. So for you to establish your wisdom, what has to be there? Issues has to be there. Like we used to tell our friend, he's very good in crisis management. If there is no crisis, he will create a crisis and manage it. Like that, It's not that place. Now, what is the mark of wisdom? Mark of wisdom is conviction. You are convinced about what? See, you are so convinced about the utility, value, application of wealth. Is there any doubt? Isn't it? You have a clear understanding. You are convinced about the value of wealth. Right. Now, to the same extent, do you have a conviction about Satyam? Truth. spiritual practices, about God. Yeah, we all love to have a meeting with God. There's no doubt about it. Of course, if God is going to give access, definitely I would love to go and visit. But then on the way, if you get a phone call from a bank manager, what do you do? You will call the secretary of God and tell him, can you postpone the meeting? There's a banker has called. I have applied for loan and he is calling me. Obviously, that means what? My loan is approved. I'll go and see him first. Then I'll come. The priorities. Your conviction, your wisdom is proved by your conviction. Your conviction is proved by your priority. What is your priority? Are you able to do things directly or you are doing things indirectly? Will show your conviction, isn't it? Directly doing one thing and roundabout doing something. That means what? When you are in a hurry to reach a place, will you take a direct flight or you will take an indirect flight? When you are in a hurry to go, you say what? Doesn't matter, sir. I will. That means what? Your priorities are very clear. Your priority is I have to reach to the place. I don't care about the price. Shortest, fastest. That's what I want. So like that, you have to see your actions, your lifestyle, how humans live, if you see, that shows what is their priorities, and their priorities are nothing but what are they convinced about. Sir, of course, on paper, on interview, when I ask an interview and say, what is your first priority? Of course, God. But then in your actions, in your thoughts, where is it? That is a question here. So, understanding first. Then that understanding should get converted into a deep conviction. That conviction alone will inspire you to move towards realization. Understanding will never inspire you to realization. Understanding will make you do what? Understanding will tell you what? Not this Janma. That means understanding. What is that? You have understood the difficulty of the path. But you have the desire to reach the destination. But you have understood the difficulties involved in the path. So what are you saying? Sir, it's a long way to go. So therefore what? Not in this Janma. So when a person says, realization not possible in this Janma, sir, that means understanding is there. Conviction is not there. Now what Krishna gives here is, he says, the one who has that conviction, what he will do? He will do the next one. He will get established. He alone can get established in this unshakable union. Means he gets that conviction, and the conviction inspires him to move towards realization and gets established in realization. This is the path. What is the conviction? Here he gives this one point. The conviction here is you are clear and you have understood the world, the manifested world and the unmanifested Brahman. How they are connected? They are connected by my yoga. My yoga, he says. So that is the beauty. So 5 and 6 he explained macrocosm, microcosm earlier. He's explained all that. And now he is saying 7 is, this is what is happening. The one who has this understanding of the microcosmic manifestations, also macrocosmic manifestations. All the manifestations are rooted in the unmanifested Brahman. How is that rooted? The substratum. The substratum is Brahman. In the substratum of Brahman, the manifested world is existing. Exactly like in the substratum of gold, ornaments are existing. In the substratum of clay, pots are existing. The one who has an understanding of the clay and the pot. Standard example in the Shastras. So that he is explaining in verse 8. Now, what is that union? How that union of the, what is the evolutionary understanding of the unmanifested Brahman uniting with the manifested world? That is the next verse, verse 8.
अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवः मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावसमन्विताः अहं सर्वस्य प्रभवः मत्तः सर्वं प्रवर्तते इति मत्वा भजन्ते मां बुधा भावसमन्विताः.
I am the origin of all. From me, everything evolves. Understanding thus, the wise worship me endowed with devotion. So, what is the understanding that he referred in the previous verse? He is explaining. Or the effect of that understanding. What happens if you have that conviction? Now he is explaining how the conviction has come into, how he gets the conviction, how the understanding happens. He gives 2 points here in the first line. Aham sarvasya prabhava. 1, 2, matta sarvam pravartate. These are the 2 points he gives. So for the manifestation, there are 2 steps or 2 aspects are there in any manifestations or any creation. Going back to the same example of the clay and pot. A clay by itself cannot become a pot. There has to be a pot maker. Isn't it? A pot maker is the one who converts the clay into a pot. So first thing he says, Aham sarvasya prabhava. Says, I am the pot maker. So what am I there? I am the nimitta karana of the manifestation or creation. Whenever we use the word manifestation, put in brackets creation. So for the world to come as Brahman, God is the creator of the world. So first step, first preliminary level of understanding. Zero understanding is world is there, I am here, I enjoy the world. Or I suffer the world. Only 2 options are there. I experience the world. This is the then a little intellectual awakening gives a person an understanding that the world cannot have emerged by itself. How is such orderliness and how is such connectivity possible? I have 5 senses and that the world is providing 5 stimulus. Correct. How? So there has to be someone who is connecting, isn't it? I have that capacity to see in the eyes. That by itself is not sufficient for the seeing to happen. For the seeing to happen, there has to be light, isn't it? In any form of the light in the form that human eyes perceive, the light in the form of a bee's eye perceive, isn't it? Ultraviolet, isn't it? Ultraviolet rays is not perceptible for human eyes, but a bee eye is designed to see it. Whether I am a bee or I am a human, I need what? Light. Correct? How come I have eyes which has the capacity to see, and who has placed the capacity to see in my eyes, and who has placed light outside? There a person comes to an understanding there is someone who is behind it, some intelligence behind it, and that cannot be inert, insentient, insensitive. Insentiency means what? Insensitive. That's the meaning of it. There's no sensation at all in that. There's no feeling at all in that, which means it is lifeless. That principle cannot be a lifeless principle. Therefore, we have equated that to a nimitta karan. What is it, sir? It is God is the creator of the world. And that's the first understanding he says. Aham sarvasya prabhava. He understands that I am the creator. First level, first degree of understanding. So from where did this world, first thing we understand, world was created. Right. It is a creation. The moment you say it's a creation, then the question comes is, how? There has to be a creator to creation to happen. So first degree of growth happens through that understanding that there is a creator. And the creator, we have given a name called God. That's it. And then you can give any name. In every language, you will have your own names. You can give a single name, you can give multiple names, we don't care. Every human is capable of giving a name of his own. There's no necessity that all of us have to agree to the name Brahman. Now, you want to give it a different name, you give. We don't care about it. But one thing for sure, you are referring to some sentient intelligence, a conscious principle, who is a creator. So he says first, Aham sarvasya prabhavaha. So I am the creator. Right. Then there is a question comes. He says, okay, a pot maker, to make a pot, he needs a material. Right. What is a material? Clay is a material for a pot maker. Similarly, for this world maker, whom we call as God, Which is the material he has used? Right. So that is the next question. To which he gives the next answer. Mattas sarvam pravartate. All this, everything has evolved from me. Means all the pots came from the clay. Same way, the God, on one hand, he was standing as a creator. No. God himself became the world. Right. In the example of pot maker and pot, the clay is different, the pot maker is different. The pot maker we refer as instrumental cause. Right. Nimitta karana. Then what is a clay? Clay is considered as the material cause, upadana karana. So upadana karana and nimitta karana. Instrumental cause and material cause. There are two causes essentially for things to make. The instrumental cause has many things, will get added to all that. But then you can't say that, the donkey that brought the clay is also a cause. No. And we don't include those things in the cause. Right. So there are conditions for reasoning to establish a cause and effect relationship. There are conditions. Now, anything and everything cannot be connected and said this is connected to that, that is connected to this. Unless the donkey was not there to bring the clay, this pot maker wouldn't have been able to make a pot. Therefore, donkey is also one of the instrumental cause. Now you don't have it. Why? That's all. Very simple. If donkey is not there, he would have brought one horse or a bull, or he himself would have carried out. So therefore, donkey is not essential. You see, it's a convenience. That's about it. Therefore, we don't include that. So like that. In this, instrumental cause is a God. Then material also God only. So there what happens? It is not that God is a creator standing separate from the world. God himself is manifesting as the world. So first thing is, he says, I am the instrumental cause. Second thing, he says, I am the material cause. So if God is the instrumental cause, also the material cause, there is nothing other than God. Of course, there is one more there. Right? We are not getting into that right now. That's because that's not the purview of chapter 10. There is next step. We do an analysis. Then we say, when God has manifested as the world, is God lost his original status? Like milk metamorphoses into curd. Right. Now you can't say milk is standing separate. Milk is the one which has become a curd now. Now, can that curd become milk again? That's not possible. isn't it? When you make a pot, there is a problem there. What is it? You make a pot and then take it and heat it up. After that, if you smash, what is there? Powder. Can you make a pot out of that? So, once we destroy the world, smash the world, recreation. So, God can manifest, God can create the world only once. That's it? No. Any number of times God can create. So there is a next stage. So like that, the reasonings will go to next like that. So that's a way they study. Therefore, what do we say there? No. It is not like pot maker making a pot. It is like a snake on the rope. That is the third stage. So first we will say what God has created the world. World is created by God. First step. Second step, we say God himself is manifesting as the world. God is the one who has manifested or metamorphosed into the world. Parinama, you see. Then the third stage is no, the world is just an illusory projection on God. That is the next stage. But Krishna refers only the two stages here because he is talking about conviction. At what stage you will have a total conviction? Only when you have this complete understanding of these two aspects. What does it say? God is the instrumental cause, also material cause. So once you have that understanding, now we can give little technical example. The technical example is what? How the waker understands the relationship of this with reference to the waking world and the dream world. The dreamer also has the knowledge of the dream world, isn't it? And we can't say dreamer doesn't know the dream world. Of course he knows. He is transacting there with the dream world. He is interacting with the dream world. So, dreamer also has knowledge of the dream world. Right? The waker also gains the knowledge of the dream world. What is the difference? The waker understands that now I am in the waking state, plus he is able to understand the dream. Two things he gets, isn't it? Also, he has the understanding of how from the waking, the dream is evolved. Right? You keep watching TV serials, what sort of dream you will get? Netflix series. If you keep watching, what is the dream you will get? You are not done right. What is that? Vikings. There's one series. It will take 1 year to complete the series. Watching, I don't know how long it took for them to make it. 1 year it takes for you to complete the series. Like our Gita class, it goes on and on and on. Not ending at all, actually. I said, finally, I'll let him die, no? Fellow will die at once, no? Oh, dive this one. Like earlier we had that series called Junoon, old Hindi series, Junoon. And we used to watch that in Tamil. And they created a language, a new dialectic came in Tamil called Junoon Tamil. People start speaking that. Yes, Junoon. Hilarious. Language engine. Series boring. It was gripping in those days. And what you will get in the dream? Will you get Rama or what? The dream. The Junoon lady only will come. The Vikings only will come in your dream. So you understand what I have been thinking, what I have been feeling, what I have been doing, what I have been seeing, what I have been hearing, what I have been talking. That alone is manifesting in the dream. So you understand the connection between how the waking life of yours linked with the dream. Same way he understands. What is he understanding? Waking experiences is the origin, and the material is also what? Waking experience only has reappeared in the dream. So that understanding he gets easy. So the one who has this understanding has a clarity. What he will do, the moment you have that conviction that why is one, the one who has this understanding, what he will do? He will start worshipping me, he says. Bhava Samanvita, endowed with devotion. Those people who are endowed with that devotion. Means seeking. Like we have seen in the text, Bhajago Vindam. Bhajago Vindam, Bhajago worship. Now worship is not what is referred there. What is referred there is seek Govinda. Not just do Arati and do Alankara and do Puja and all that. You can do all that. It's all part of this. But essentially, what are you doing? The seeking Govinda. Like that here. When he says endowed with devotion, you seek it. Why? Because the moment you have this understanding, that understanding will get a deep-rooted conviction. The proof of that deep-rooted conviction is that intense desire to reach. That is the root here. Means you cannot live without it. That's the meaning of it. Endowed with devotion, the wise worship me. Means with devotion they worship. Means with this understanding they seek me. With the deep-rooted conviction they seek me. That's the meaning of it. He says the seeker recognizes the play of the divinity in the world. Since he is seeing that divine hand, divinity's presence, he says, if a manifestation itself is like this, what must be his original Swarupa? Isn't it? So he starts seeking that. How this leads to that? This is how it leads. If he is able to just a little show like advertisement. You just see an advertisement, you get enticed to buy the product, isn't it? Automatically. And you keep on viewing that advertisement. That's why the pattern, the law of advertisement is what? Repeat. So when you keep seeing it again and again and again, what will happen? you will develop a desire for it. So when he is having this understanding, a deep-rooted conviction, what will happen? Automatically he will start seeking. It's not a casual seeking, it is endowed with devotion, means you cannot live without it. Without seeing him, intense desire to get there, get back. You can go anywhere, want to get back. Like my dad. My father and mother always had this one problem. They said, we'll go anywhere, but come back quickly to the house. What is there in the house? She will go on asking. What do you have here for you to keep coming back here? They have to come back. Go there, one day. Maximum we can manage is one day. More than that, we can't manage. I say, let's go. And he'll book the tickets also. And now that is no more, my mom is very free. I can go wherever I want to go and stay there, how long ever I want to stay. This man is never allowed. Have to get back. What is there? Nobody knows. You see, it's called devotion. Devotion means what? Devotion is what? Devotion is an emotion, remember. Okay. By law, emotions, by nature, emotions being part of the mind, cannot have any reason or rhyme. Isn't it? How can you have a reasoning for emotion? Why do you love me? What answer you can give? Why do you like set dosa, not onion dosa? What answer you can give? I like, that's all. Why do you like this person? Why don't you like that person? What answer you can give? Because the moment you start reasoning, what will happen to that? It will disappear. Devotion. By nature, devotion is what? Not because of. If you are devoted to God because of, there is no devotion. In spite of. This is the difference. Not because of. I am devoted to Guru. Why? Because of. There is no devotion. In spite of whatever is happening. Independent of anything happening. No reason, no logic, no nothing you can give. Can't say, oh, he is very smart. He is brilliant. He speaks so well. He is very intelligent. He is very logical. Is that the reason? He is so good. He caters to all my demands. One day, if he doesn't cater to your demand, what will happen? All your devotion will turn to what? All your affection, surrender, will turn into hatred. Go the other extreme. There's no option. Devotion is the only emotion you can afford to entertain without reason. All other emotions will have some catering, some demand. Something that you are is getting fulfilled by the other person. Some insecurity in me is getting satisfied by the other. Then I will have all my affection towards them. Some demand of mine is catered by the other. I will have all my affection. Which means the moment they stop catering, what will happen? My emotion will die. So we say, blessed are the ones who have the opportunity to experience devotion. Not easy. To experience devotion, surrender, bhakti bhavana, all that is very rare. Something in me. What is it? Something can be catering to my material needs, could be catering to my physical needs, could be catering to my emotional needs, or to my intellectual needs, or even to my spiritual needs, so called. So long as the person caters to you, for that we are giving all our emotions. The moment that catering stops, what happens? Completely gone. After that, what are you? Who are you? I thought he was good. Now he is good. Only now I understood. You have to meet such people. When you meet, you will understand the power of this knowledge and the warning they give. Remember, the devotion has endowed with devotion. This devotion and this understanding, you can never establish a link. See, with this understanding, will you get devotion? Now that you have understood, no? There is nimitta karana, there is upadana karana and all that. What has happened? Next verse. That's all, no? What else you get there? The best part of it is this, the devotion. That's why Krishna goes on saying, me, me, me. Now he's telling Arjuna, Arjuna is no way in a position to understand what he's speaking. He's not connecting to at all what he's saying actually. But still he doesn't care. He says, I am the origin of all. I am the origin of all. Krishna had a birthday, no? Right. Ramayana came before Mahabharata or after Mahabharata? Before Mahabharata. Right? Rama was there, Ravana was there, Sita was there, Janaka was there, so many people are there. All those people are living before Krishna, no? Krishna was born much later. These people are born much earlier. And then he says what? I am the origin. When he says I am the origin, what is that I am? That we need to reinterpret. Don't take it as Krishna's origin, because it is factually wrong. Mr. Krishna cannot be the origin. Mr. Krishna cannot be everything evolves from me alone. But then he says, I am the origin. Here we say one is intellectual interpretation. Intellectual interpretation is, whenever we say intellectual interpretation, please understand it is not for you. Okay? Right. Intellectual interpretation means it is an introverted interpretation. Right. Whenever we say intellectual, immediately we think, we are all intellectual. We interpret. What is it? I am means Brahman. Atman. Correct. You don't know the meaning of the word I am. You don't know the meaning of the word Atman. Brahman. Both you don't know. Right. All that we have said is replacing the word. The moment I say I am the origin of all means Atman is the origin of all. Correct. It's exactly like Swamiji says, no? What is concentration? Focus. What is focus? Concentration. Both you don't know meaning. Right? It's better to use the word I am than to use the word Atman Brahman, because at least I am is in a language which is familiar to you. Atman, Brahman and all, that is not a language you are familiar with. So what is that you are going to take as I am? Then we go to this devotional interpretation. Devotional interpretation is God or Ishvara. Is the Saguna Brahman, to take it as. Or another word we use is Vishnu. I am the origin of all, means Vishnu is the origin of all. And then all of us will agree. Correct, sir. I have seen that in Padmanabha Swami Temple. Trivandrum, have you been there? What do you see there? Vishnu lying down. From his navel there is a lotus stem. On that there is a lotus. On that Brahma seated. So Vishnu created Brahma. Brahma created the world. Therefore, Vishnu is who? World is a son. Brahma is a father. Vishnu is a grandfather. So he says, I am the origin of all. Correct. This is devotional interpretation. Then there is a seeker's interpretation. The third one. I reserve it to myself. The seekers get it. There's a third interpretation. I am the origin of all. And Krishna says that I am the origin of all. To who he is saying? Because Arjuna has told Krishna what? Sishyasteham sadhumam mam prapannam. Take me as your Sishya, as your disciple and guide me. So whenever Krishna uses the word I am, within brackets Arjuna will be putting what? Whenever Krishna addresses you, he is addressing who? Arjuna, who is a Sishya. So if Arjuna, who is a Sishya, then Krishna is who then? He is the Guru. So that is how we interpret. This is my feel. So wherever you say I, you have to interpret it as this. Then it is so engaging and so interesting to study. As Atman Brahman, we don't know. I have no idea. We just use the word. Somebody told you that word Atman Brahman, therefore they are using the word Atman Brahman. If somebody else would have given you some other word, you would have been using that word. That's all. Doesn't make any difference. I am the origin of all. From me, everything evolves. Understanding. Thus, understanding how the progression happens. What is the progression? I am the instrumental cause and I am the material cause, and I am both instrumental and material cause. Then I am not the cause at all. All that is understood here. Yes. Understanding thus, what will happen? If you understand it thus, immediately it gives the test. What is the test of that understanding? The wise worship me. You will start worshipping me with devotion. With devotion means a deep-rooted conviction. Not the devotion that we refer to as devotion here. That is the verse here. 9.
Machittamagata pranaha bodhayanta parasparam kathayantascha mam nityam tushyanti cha ramanti cha. तामद्गतप्राणाः बोधयन्त परस्परम् कथयन्तश्च मां नित्यं तुष्यन्ति च रमन्ति च.
Those with mind in me, with pranas, life's activities, absorbed in me, enlightening one another, and always speaking of me, they are contented and delighted. Now he is coming to the idea of how those who worship me endowed with devotion live their life. How do you know? Yes, you have the understanding, and then you will start claiming that I have of course, sir, I am seeking God. You will also say that. Why? The proof is I am attending your class now. He says that's not the criteria, I am giving you the criteria. What is the proof? That you have the understanding and this. Or you can take it as, this verse can be interpreted as the effort that you have to put in to get that understanding. Or what is the conducive lifestyle that you have to live to get that understanding. You can take it in any way. Right? All the three, you can take it. So depending upon your convenience, you can interpret. So here he says, what is the way in which they live? Those with mind in me. Mind means what? Collective here. Right? The entire subtle body means all thoughts. All the thoughts. Machitta means the entire stock of thoughts is full of thought of God alone. There is no other thought. First criteria out. Okay, sir, we'll try next one. First thing, Machitta, how they live. Their mind is saturated with the thought of Brahman, God. So the entire thing, it has so gone, so deep-rootedly it has gone to an extent where even in deep sleep he gets the thought. Impossible. Even in deep sleep. How is that? Impossible. You can't connect to it. So you need a demonstration. The demonstration is what we see in this movie. Shankarabharanam. Shankara Shastri. How much the music has gone into him. It's unbelievable. You see, the music has saturated in his personality to an extent where a scene comes, one of my favorite scenes in the movie. The Shankara Shastri is sleeping, fast asleep. He is already sleeping. The best part is when a person is awake, you massage his feet, there's some meaning in it. Okay. This boy Shankaran, he comes, he sees the man sleeping. So what is he supposed to do now? What will you do? Go back. Oh, sleeping, huh? Okay, I'll come later. You go. This boy is not doing that. Quietly he comes and he checks his breathing. You see that? I don't know whether the director actually made a movie like this or we are interpreting it that way. If he had made it like that, genius. When the breathing happens, the background music will be what? Shruti. The Shruti comes and he gets so excited. He gets so excited and he doesn't go. He goes and softly takes the feet of the master and starts pressing. As he is pressing, he is practicing. Adan Sishya. As he is pressing the feet, what this boy is doing? He starts singing. And the master is still fast asleep. Right? He's not woken up. He's still sleeping. And as he is practicing the lesson, he gets stuck. The third line, he gets stuck. When he gets stuck, how to progress next? As this man is sleeping, he sings. He's not woken up at all. Unbelievable sleep. Now, Machitta means that state where even if you are fast asleep, you are saturated with music. Like that, your mind should be saturated with the thought of me. Whatever the me is. Each one have to interpret that me as their own. You interpret it in your own way. He says, those mind in me. Beautiful. The thought is full. There is no other space. It's completely filled up. It's a point of saturation, we call it as. Saturated with it. Then what? Madgata prana. Those with pranas absorbed in it. Prana means life's activities. All the activities of life. Which means what? All activities of life tuned to me. Means it is tuned to reach to the self. You are living your life for God. Weird one. Why should you live for as if by you living, he is going to get something? Right? I'm living only for you. Yeah, there is some value addition. That's correct. As long as you are there, something is there for me. Right. Now, what are you going to do for him? There is no. All activities. Entire Jivitam itself is only for the sake of God. So first, at the thought level, you are saturated. You are constantly thinking of God. Like earlier he said, no, Ananya Chintayento, like that. That's the first point. Second point he is you live all your activities also. It's not that I'm thinking of him, sir, but my actions are going in some other direction. No. Your actions are also moving in the direction of the self. Towards God. All this prana, all these activities. Then gives another beautiful point. Bodhayanta parasparam. Parasparam bodhayanta. Enlightening one another. So when two bhaktas were to meet, what do they do? Right. When they meet, what were they doing? You can't be looking at each other and, like blank. I will go on and on and on. This is the capacity. Our problem is, you go to these parties and all that, wedding party and this social gathering and all that. After the 5th minute, you will not know what to talk. The other person, have you realized? You don't know what to talk to the other person. He also doesn't know what to talk to you. Both of you looking at each other blank. That means what? What does it mean? What does it mean? Nothing in common. Okay. What is the meaning of that? Nothing in common means there is nothing common which is meaningful for both of us. What I believe to be something meaningful, and what you believe to be something meaningful, there's no connection. What is meaningful to me is cricket. What is meaningful to you is golf. What is the conversation we have? If at all we engage in conversation, where we will land? Argument only. That's what's happening everywhere. That is why today what are we doing? We are not having any conversations with humans. You realize that? Humans are having problem in relating to humans only. Humans are not having any problem relating to animals. That's why every house has a pet now. Why you need to have a pet? To have a dog in the house for security purposes is different. You see? That is different. I'm not talking about that. Or some utility, like some of them have, cows, goats, survival, that is. For that they have. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pet. Today we start seeing people started calling themselves as, you can't call someone as a dog owner now. You know that? What you should say? Pet parent. If you are the parent, that's what it will be the outcome. And produce only animal, no? Weird fellows. One fellow said, call me pet parent. The association, we are not supposed to use. Some dog owners, be careful. No, you should not use the word dog owner. Then what to do now? Pet parent. Weird. What is weird is not the animals. They are not weird. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about human. We are not having the capacity to relate to a fellow human, the same species. Complete breakdown. Have you seen anthill? Anthill. I've observed the colony of ants. They move around, and every time you will see, invariably, when two ants were to cross, what do? They touch each other and they go. Have you ever seen one of them turning back, coming back and asking, what did you say? Has it ever happened? Try. I have tried. Ants. In Bat Street only. We used to get a lot. Ants. Amazing to see them. They're still there, hands. But be careful. They are fascinating to see. Comes, it touches, and goes this way, it goes this way. I don't know what they are communicating, what is the conversation, nothing. But invariably they communicate. It's never possible. You will find hand goes that way, I don't talk to you. You don't talk to me. What did you say? Explain yourself. Justify yourself. Nothing. They contact once, they go. A communication is completed. Only human beings need training. Communication seminars we have to attend. Why? Now, who is a better species, you tell me? Is animal superior or human superior? Why is it that we have lost that capacity? You cannot live, you see. After a point, you get bored. Now, what you people should realize is Rama, Sita, and Lakshmana, these three had lived all alone in the jungle for 14 years, 13 years. Okay. 13 years, these three alone have a conversation. What are they going to talk? Have you ever thought? I used to think. Is Rama, Sita is there. Lakshmana thought he is even more problem. Okay. At least Rama, Sita will have some conversations. Every time when these two were talking, what will this fellow do? Quietly go and stand outside. Right? No one to even have a conversation with Lakshmana. And then don't that Rama get bored with Sita and Sita get bored with Rama? 13 years. They never got bored with each other. Now here we are sitting and we are meeting after few years. And we don't have any topic to have a conversation. So whenever you are not having a topic for conversation, what do we do? Huh? Politics. That's why you switch over to politics. You start discussing politics. We don't know what to do then. We go blackout. Now imagine two bhaktas were to meet. What will they do? There is parasparam bodhaya. Beautiful quality. What are they going to do? They just keep sharing with each other what is their understanding of God. What are they thinking? What is going on? Why? Why they do it? You are saturated. What else you do? When you are totally saturated, and when you are constantly listening to this idea, something will happen. That's why when you are reading Ramtirtha, you will go on saying, don't listen to me listlessly. Pay attention to what Rama has to say. Pay attention to what Rama has to say. Don't listen to Rama listlessly. Listen with rapt attention. And the best part of this lecture is, there's one lecture is there, one of my favorite lectures, Appeal to Americans. You read that lecture. Okay. All of you have Ramtirtha's volumes. There's a lecture, Appeal to Americans. Read it. With what conviction, what force he is speaking. You know how many were sitting for that lecture? 5 fellows were listening to it. You know, 5 fellows sitting. And he is speaking as though the entire US is listening to him. The congregation of at least minimum of about 5-6 million attending his lecture. Like that he's speaking. How many fellows are there actually? 5 fellows are listening. Unbelievable lecture of this. 5 fellows listening. What power? From where it is coming? Parasparam Bodhaya. When you see someone. Because every time you listen to it, it is one thought getting deposited. One thought is deposited. One thought is deposited. Deposit. This is the way you get to this thought of Achitta. How do you get your thought saturation? By constantly listening. Constantly talking about it. That's what he says next. Katayanta. Keep talking. Keep on speaking about it. Nothing you speak. Every time. Like anything you're interested, you will go on talking, isn't it? It's very simple. Whatever you're interested in, you will go on talking. Again and again and again. So he says, I'm interested in it, therefore I'm talking. Speaking always of me. What are they? They are contented and delighted. Tushyanti cha ramanti. Or contented and or delighted. Now we are also delighted. Isn't it? But what is our delight? All the delights that we experience in life is full of because of external stimuli. Right? The stimuli. Something happening externally delights us. Now, their delight is not like that. Their delight is what? Contented and delighted. Without any external stimulus, they are delighted. Another difference. Contented, delighted. So, what is their lifestyle? This is the lifestyle. Those mind in me, pranas absorbed in me, enlightening one another, and always speaking of me, they are contented and delighted. See you next.